Well, hello there, and greetings from the center of the earth. Well, probably not. I am Desert Punk, Fire Pro notoriety, I suppose. Um, I made, I attempted to make a video last night of this subject, and I kind of rambled and droned on for over an hour and 30 minutes, which I thought about releasing, but then I thought, why? No one's gonna listen to this fucking one, and I'm trying to keep this under 20. Who the fuck's gonna listen to that and I have one? But anyway, point being, there's no point. There's no point. Fuck it. Uh, I'm here to discuss my save. Yes, Fire Pro. No, it's for Fire Pro. Yes, I'm fucking up already. I'm being self-conscious. I'm thinking about the fact that I sound like a drooling hillbilly. But I promise you, despite the fact that I'm a hillbilly, I am not drooling at the moment. Mm, yes. Anyway, I'm here to talk about my favorite save, but judging by the downloads, not yours, that honor would go to Pro Wrestling Canon and its many variations. I'm talking, of course, about Center of the Earth Pro Wrestling. And it's my favorite because it's the craziest, it's the most outlandish, it's the most fun. Yes. Um, and I know it's a few of you guys' favorite. Um, I have maybe 3 or 4 fans who download every single one. But even that, I'm not sure about that last one, 6. I don't even know if Peanut's still around. Um, but anyway, I'm here not to ramble on like I did last night, even though I'm doing it right now. I'm gonna try to hone in and focus. I'm not. I'm trying to talk about the actual fucking canon that I've retconned back together because I don't remember it all, and the old Fire Pro Club is down, and the old arena is down. Well, there is no Fire Pro Club right now, except on Facebook. But anyway, I don't have access to the first Senator save. I fuck, no, I know what happened to it. Um, I might have 2, maybe 3, maybe. Yes, I have a maybe. I don't know for sure. But anyway, I'm going to talk about the actual storyline behind it because I thought about writing it all down, and it's no one's gonna read it. So if no one's gonna pay attention to it, why don't I just do a bullshit little podcast for it? There we go. So to understand Senator Pro Wrestling, you must first understand that I have. It's basically my ripped off version of another save. Yes, I stole kind of the idea of an wacky, outlandish, out there um, wrestling universe. There was someone, I don't even remember who, and they never sent me the fucking save, even though I tried to get in contact with them, the dirty bastards, who made a Champions of the Galaxy Fire Pro save. Yes, and the video is still out there, and it's still awesome. Now, Champions of the Galaxy, I would later find out, was a trading card game. And I actually have some of their cards, because if you sign up with them, you get like 4 free or something like that. But anyway, I'm not paying money just to get trading cards. Fuck that. So I thought, I'll just make my own. So what do I base it on? Well, a long time ago, I used to watch a show called Out There TV, which later became Matrix News, I think. Doesn't exist anymore. That's a story unto itself. And there was a idiot on there. Well, I don't want to say it. That might be mean. A moron. A moron on there, yes. Talking about the hollow earth. Yes. How the earth is really hollow. And various creatures and UFOs and perhaps even God and maybe some Nazis live there. Hmm, indeed. And then there was another about the Duro and all kinds of other shit. Um, but anyway, I said, that's a cool idea. And of course, most of my inspiration came from um, Journey to the Center of the Earth. I think I'm trying to think. The Peter Cushing one with Doug McClure. Not the Jules Verne one. No, the one based loosely on the fucking guy that wrote Tarzan's stuff. That Center of the Earth with the telepathic pterodactyl guys and the big T Rex chicken thing. Oh, and Caroline Munro, the the very hot Caroline Munro played a slave girl in it. But I don't even remember. I could Google it. But fuck it. My computer has enough problem even fucking streaming my voice. And this picture I am showing you, not even the original map. No, this is not the original map. I can't find the original map. But this is the oldest map I have for when I get to talking about what I came here to talk about. But anyway, so I based the the save on this Hollow Earth theory, which I don't subscribe to, but wouldn't it be fun if it was real? Um, so that's kind of the basis of the concept of you can still have a molten core, you can still have hell, you can still have all these things because the Earth's hollow, but it's not because there's caverns and other realms and gravity works both ways and yeah. And you can actually, I did a whole video on the Hollow Earth theories. I'm not gonna go over it all again, even though that was on my old mic, so I apologize for that. Um, this, however, is yeah, based on that, based on the Hollow Earth theory. There's crazy out there shit, mostly UFO tied in stuff, but there's also some weird shit that happens there. So I come up and I just wanted this idea, I wanted to rip Champions of the Galaxy off, so I come up there, so then I had to carve up the center of the Earth. I had to have realms, I had to have good guys, I had to have bad guys, I had to have different races and kingdoms. So what I did was I did carve it up. I had the Dragon Realm, which is like this big, large. I enabled mouse, so hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Mouse cursor. You should be able to see this. I hope it's not propping up on my preview, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything, I guess. Um, the Dragon Realm is the biggest one because they're the biggest population of the big empire. They own more or less half of the inner Earth, or as I call them, the Underrealms. Yes, because they're realms and they're under the surface. Mm, yes, the dragons, the Dragonkin, of course. Even though there's not a lot of them on the safe, are the predominant race and the ones kind of in charge to this day on a lot of different factors. Of course, they're ruled by the Dragon King and his royal family. But in part one, I think I just had the Dragon King, some flunkies, and then other various creatures. Because the concept is, as stupid as this is they were going to go to war. The Dragon King was going to go to war with the dwarves and all the other people that I'll get to in a minute. And he was going to take over. How dare they? I'm tired of this. Fuck this shit. And these people said, well, we can't like just kill everybody. This isn't the back in the day. And he's like, well, we gotta submit them. We gotta put them into our kingdom. Fuck those guys. I'm quoting, by the way. Yes, no, I'm, but so they're looking. Well, we could have a tournament. So let's rip off Mortal Kombat. Let's have a realm-based tournament. Yes. So, well, how are we gonna do this? Are we gonna have like duels to the death, or are we gonna have like a boxing kind of tournament or whatever? And it would just happen a freak occurrence that allowed for them to get a copy of a TNA DVD and a DVD player. And they saw the crazy outlandishness of pro wrestling on Earth and being cut off underrealm people that had or beings that had no knowledge of the surface. They go, good God, this is unique. We'll adopt this combat. And for no adequate reason at all, they decide this will be our new national sport or whatever. We're gonna have a tournament. We're gonna have a fucking wrestling tournament. Yes. And the wrestling catches on everywhere, and everywhere becomes more or less possessed by the wrestling bug. Everybody wants to be a wrestler because shut up. That's why. So the strongest fighters come together. You know, the Dwarven Kingdom. It humans were kind of secondary citizens of it. Now here's a wrestling tournament, and we need strong fighters. So all of a sudden the humans get more rights, and then the rock people are like, shit, we don't have many people, and we move really fucking slow. So they go out and they um, incorporate other beings like the Minotaur. Yes, who was in the Rock Kingdom, and he was down here in the Rock Caverns, and also somewhere in the caverns of where was the Turtle. Mm. I kind of just went as I did, um, just adding random things. Nothing really was made sense, I guess. But anyway, so they would get like people, and then hell, the devil's like, well, shit, you know. I just got me and a few demons. So they start letting people out of the internal punishment, and then they would become pro wrestlers. And then the magma men were like, we're really fucked. We don't have any wrestlers. And they said, well, we'll just make some. So they made golems in the image of wrestlers, like Magma Missile. Yes. And of course, there was the Water Realm, who really didn't have anyone, because I really didn't think it through. So I decided eventually I tacked on some islands, and for some reason Dracula was down there, and he had Frankenstein's monster and the mummy. But I do remember the ending. I actually had endings in the first Center of the Earth. The ending to the mummy, you found out that he actually wasn't an Egyptian mummy. He was someone with a mummification fetish. That just Dracula grabbed the first mummy he could out of hell. Dracula escaped hell, by the way. Um, Whoa, my chair almost fell over. Anyway, and then you have the Mole Kingdom because you have to have mole men because you're in the center of the earth. And they really didn't. They were just kind of there. You know? You couldn't make them very strong because they're mole men. What the fuck are they going to do against a rock guy or a big fucking minotaur or a giant turtle? And then I got to thinking, well, we gotta have more outlandish characters, so I added Atlantis, and shit, I really can't go too far with Atlantis. So I started adding even more crazy characters. I started adding aliens because aliens play into the whole Hollow Earth thing. Of course, aliens would be there. And then I started adding, fucking, that wasn't until part two I added Bermuda Triangle. But anyway, I started adding like Omega Hulk and Gary Busey because why not? And, or did Gary Busey pop up in two? I think he popped up in one. I don't remember. Anyway, I'm rambling again like I did. I'm gonna, and my cat has decided to jump up and um, get involved in the proceedings here, and maybe to get me back on track and get to the fucking point. Anyway, gonna go through here. Yes, yes, we're gonna fucking talk about the actual variations of the save, which I more or less consider standalone games because I'm weird like that. But we're gonna talk canon wise, Center of the Earth, Pro Wrestling, Part 1, or the actual first title I think was In the Center of the Earth. But anyway, we have Dragon King fighting for dominance. We have all these other places trying to keep off the Dragon King, trying to win the tournament so they can be High King, huh? Yes. So, we can't just have it be as simple as that. Of course, there has to be a main villain. I mean, don't you watch any movies or anime? Of course, there's always a main villain. So, I come up with a main villain. And it took a while. I made a very many people that were supposed to be the main villain that just, sucked or got deleted or bumped down to regular wrestlers. And I just decided to come up with the Nameless because I really couldn't fucking figure out a name for him. And he was more or less like an old one, kind of a Lovecraftian kind of thing, but newly born as a child. So it really wasn't all that powerful, wasn't grown up, but it was strong enough to fuck with people. And I wanted to use that big weird anime head in Fire Bro. So we get to that, and then I start adding in Mystery Science Theater guys. So of course we get Zap Rouse that way. Um, And of course, I have to add Zatoris and Manos and all the other fucking Mystery Science Theater guys. And my cat's howling in the other room. He's mad. I'm talking to the computer. He's confused. But anyway, so the tournament doesn't really have a conclusion. It kind of does, but the tournament gets interrupted by the Nameless. So the first guy that beats the Nameless gets to be the king because I am not a good writer. So Rousdower and a few other guys actually fucking get the Nameless pretty much beat, but he does a last ditch effort and he throws them all out of the ring. And here comes the Dragon King with a flash pin, mind you, and he heals it up. He gets the 1, 2, 3. He's the new High King. That slimy son of a bitch. Actually, you know, he's the king. He probably bathes pretty regularly, but that's beside the point. He's the new king. So, Rousdower and a few other guys banish the Nameless to the Shadow Universe, or the Shadow Realm, as it would later be in sequels. And we're off and running to part 2 of the official canon. We are now running to 2, which, of course, we gotta have another big bad, which I'll get to in a minute. And I don't think that was free that introduces the Chaos Stone, which kind of makes everybody crazy, and all the weird people start attracting to it. And then you get the Temple of Elements, which is basically just a bullshit reason for me to get anyone I want to into this universe. And literally, anyone can come through the portal in the Temple of Elements. Um, and also, that was something to do with the Bermuda Triangle and an alternate dimension, even though the Temple of Elements was a gateway to all possibilities of dimensions. Um, and to this day, yes. But you have to fit into Fire Pro rendering. You have to be a humanoid, and you have to be no taller than 8 foot tall. So, sorry, Cthulhu. Um, but anyway, so where was I? Oh yes, part 2. Everybody's pissed off at Dragon King. They're like, "You're a dick, Dragon King. We don't want you as our king. You fucking cheated." Even though he didn't really cheat. He just kind of shitty way to win. Um, and he's like, "Well, I am too the fucking best. I tell you what, let's have another grand tournament, even bigger one, and I'll kick ass." You know, so they do. They have a 128 being tournament. And of course, while this is going on, the new big bad for number 2, we have the Hyper Warden in the Hyper Prison. Let's see here. I want 4. Yeah, I want 4. Okay. So we get that. Yes. And basically, I ripped off the Borg ship and design for the Hyper Prison. It's a big cube. Of course, you can't see that there, but because I don't have the image anymore. But just saying. Um, and also I retconned some shit in between 1 and 2. Um, and this is actually a map of 4, so probably not the best. But anyway, the Hyper Prison is like this android guy that was built to be a warden, and he created other synthetic entities like Sentence and Judgment and I think prosecution or something. Conviction! Yes, conviction. Anyway, so they became like they would just imprison people they deemed unfit. And wouldn't you know it, that the beings in the center of the earth, they formed an umbrella promotion, kind of like the NWA, the Underrealm Wrestling Federation. Yes, the URWF. This started running pay-per-views. They started making money, and wouldn't you know it, aliens way out in space decided to pirate the feed and sell it. Now, the hyper prison comes along, finds some these people pirating this, locks their ass up, says "fuck you, you're going to jail," and they see this event and they're like, "Good lord, all these fuckers need to go to jail. This whole fucking Underrealms and Earth too. Let's just lock them all up." So they travel there. When they get there, there's a new fucking tournament going on with 128 of the best wrestlers that the Center Earth can provide for the new High King spot. So, yeah, they joined the tournament for reasons not adequately explained by me, and Judgment turns babyface at the end because why not? Rousdower beats the Warden. Rousdower beats the Judgment. He becomes your new High King. I think he might have beat the Dragon King. It's somewhere on my photo bucket. I don't remember the bracket. Anyway, Rousdower's new High King, the Hyper Prison, gets kind of shoved off to the corner of the Mole Kingdom because fuck the Mole Kingdom, that's why. And then we're off and running to part 3. And part 3 was just a save update. It doesn't have a story. Because I wrote myself into a corner and I had nowhere to go. It doesn't have a story. It's just there. But part 4 actually has a fucking story. And I'm trying to. It doesn't really have a big bad. It kinda sorta does. I was toying with ideas with different big bads for different characters. Kinda like a Tekken thing where you fight different bosses, or mini bosses, I should say, depending on who you are, which I thought was kind of a good idea. And expanded the universe. I started bringing in alternate universe possibilities, future Earth. Started embellishing on the existing realms, added new ones that just kind of popped up, like the elves were extinct because I didn't know how to do elf ears. Figured out how to do elf ears. Wouldn't you know it, the elves come back. It's magical. I started adding aliens, and I figured I had so many aliens that the aliens formed their own fed, Galaxy Pro, because what else would you fucking call it? And then they got so many of those that there was a splinter group who became Interstellar Pro Wrestling, and they don't like each other. And then there's some of those said "fuck you" to both of them, and this guy went over there and he started his own battle arena, which is kind of like an asteroid that floats around the Earth's orbit. And that's kind of it in 4. It kind of gets expanded later on. I don't know if Battle Arena was in 4 or 5, actually. I think it was 4. But anyway, and I start making more miniature realms because it didn't make much sense that they wouldn't be these smaller realms like Frog Swamp. They really, they're not going to take shit from Dracula in the Water Realm. And then the Rock Kingdom had a civil war for some reason. And instead of just having a Survivor Series match to see who wins, it's still going on. I don't know why. Maybe I'll change that. But anyway, um, what was that? Oh yes, 4. Um, 4 had, and I missed my 20-minute mark. But anyway, 4 had the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse and God as some of the final characters. Yes, and I believe Jesus and Buddha were already in the save previously in 3 as the Holy Rollers. Very good tag team. Won a few tag belts, never won the big ones, but oh well. Um, so you get there, somebody's manipulating things, trying to get Armageddon to happen or the final days. The 4 horsemen come down to fuck shit up, and then we have a big 8-man elimination match between the 4 horsemen and some characters I don't remember. I think Omega Hulk was in there and a few others before he was babyface. Um, so Rousdower comes down, saves the day, but oh, it's not Armageddon. Someone was manipulating him, and if you had done the story mode that I didn't make but I meant to for 4, you would have found out that the main villain was actually Lord Xenu of Scientology. And then you fight Lord Xenu at the end, and he's actually the final boss. And he just kind of appeared on the saves after that. Um, then we get to 5. We're going down to 5. We're going up to 5. Now 5 was one of my favorite saves, and after 5, I would do a complete overhaul on the entire save, which I'm already redoing a bunch of shit for number 7, or maybe not. It won't get a full number 7. Maybe it will. I don't know. We'll see. Um, but for 5, we go back. I'm gonna rip off somebody else. I've had too many aliens and otherworldly beings being the big bads. I need a terrestrial big bad. But even that I don't fucking get right because I just rip off Thanos because I think I might have watched the Avengers or something, and I come up with Dranos, the World Ender. And Dranos was actually an old Dragon King from the ancient days who got banished into outer space. He went into outer space, he figured out how to become immortal because he's basically Thanos, and he started destroying worlds and he's created an empire and he was just basically this big evil douchebag. He's out way out there in space, um, past everything, or almost everything, way fucking out there. Yes, my cat agrees. Way out there, and he finally gets wind that the Earth's making waves. All of a sudden, all these fucking aliens are wanting to go to Earth to be pro wrestlers. So he's like, well, I'm gonna go back to the Earth and I'm gonna fucking blow it up. He gets there and he sees all these wrestlers and he's like, well, I'll kick their ass and then I'll blow them up. So now he goes down there and the Dragon King steps up to try to be the big hero, gets his fucking ass kicked. Then here comes Rousdower, the hero of the last few saves, but he can't fucking win. Oh my god, what a swerve, huh? Then, out of nowhere, Omega Hulk comes out of nowhere, finally turns fucking babyface after all these years. He's fucking basically a Hulk Hogan mixed with the Incredible Hulk. Of course he has to fucking be a babyface one of these days. He comes in, saves the day, Rousdower gets the pin, Dranos is defeated, and instead of blowing up the Earth, he just kind of says, fuck it, and goes back to his spaceship, having been humiliated, and mostly out of my bad writing. Um, anyway, so, we're up to that. Where the fuck is that? Here. Okay. New one. Um, so we get up to 6, which is the complete overhaul. I delete a ton of fucking edits. Well, I don't know about a ton, but a lot. Yeah, I'd say there's a shitload of new guys. Probably a ton. Okay. I overhaul everything. I start redoing everything, and I just redid it again. So we got a new one coming out. But anyway, 6, bigger, better, stronger. Yes, it's part 5 on steroids. That's the joke, I think. You got all these new wrestlers. You got all this thing. You see, what had happened was during the events of 5, Cthulhu Sito, the son of Cthulhu, more or less, was kind of discarded by Cthulhu. But anyway, he starts dreaming, and wouldn't you know it, one by one, other Lovecraftian characters come into this reality. Now, we find out later this is because of Yogg-Sothoth, with his weird fascination with wrestling, and his son, the third Dunwich Horror, the Watley boy no one ever knew existed, who also happens to be a big one-man game fan, who dresses like him. Yes, we're talking about Winston Watley, the third Dunwich Horror, son of Yogg-Sothoth, big wrestling fan. Yogg said, well, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna get you in this fucking universe, in this reality, because it's gonna be your fucking favorite. There you go. And he starts tricking all the other dudes in there, and even he comes down in avatar form, because fuck it, why not? And, Cthulhu Ceto's already there, and he sees, and he's got his buddy Moose, who's just like this weird moose entity. And here comes Big Papa Cthulhu and all these other people. They're the big bads for 6. You gotta stop the fucking Lovecraft guys. But luckily, we have our own Lovecraftian fucking thing, Cthulhu Cedo, who turns babyface. He turns technical. Because he's technically in the Lucha Libre Fed. And he turns fucking babyface. Because compared to his dad, he is a fucking babyface. So, they fucking fight. And the good guys win because they always fucking win. You can't, I guess I could do 2 or 3 saves where the bad guys win and everybody's kind of bummed out. But see, if the bad guys win, the universe kind of gets destroyed. So can't do that. Anyway, we get that shit, and that's kind of where we're at. And I've been regrouping, and I've been doing a lot of shit and changing and retconning and doing what I feel like, adding realms. We now have an ice realm because why not? Um, so, and I don't know why Central Mundo on that map is almost as big as Dragon Realm, but oh well. Anyway, um, you notice the Dragon Realm keeps shrinking and losing area. I think it's because I made them too big. But anyway, so that's the story, and I probably could have done that in about 5 minutes, but it took me 30 because I suck. Oh, yes. I'll show you how fucking sad I really am. Where is it? You're in here somewhere. There you go. I created. Oh, fuck you, live stream. Just work. I created an actual fucking universe. I did a universe map of the center of the Earth wrestling universe to explain where all the fucking aliens come from. Now up here you got the sanity barrier. You should look at that shit. I still don't see the mouse cursor popping up in my preview, so I apologize if you don't see it. But over here is Jacques Saroff in his this reality's form, and then you have like the outer frontier space with kind of the weirder, crazier shit. Then you over here you got a lot of evil motherfuckers, and then you got the good guys over here, and you got kind of weird shit over here, and you got more weird shit over here, and then you got Earth and some other shit. A lot of sci-fi references because I don't know, and and I actually looked through and I found every alien on the save, and I made sure that their home system is on this map. So if that helps you in any way, yeah. And this is not obviously the entire universe. This is just the universe of Center of the Earth Pro Wrestling. Obviously, there's more because I always need to have room to retcon more. And look, who knows what's down here? Past these planets, or over here past these planets, over here past those planets. Who the fuck knows, huh? Maybe nothing. I don't know. Anyway, I could probably fit all the aliens I ever need in this map, but I'm rambling. This is not helpful. This is not helpful. I'm rambling, but at least it's not an hour and a half. I'm going to stop around the 32-minute mark. If you've made it this far, I applaud you. And I feel sorry for you because, uh, yeah, I don't have a very high opinion of myself. Duh. Anyway, Desert Punk out. Don't really have a sign off. Kind of lost the point a long time ago. Later.